Hey everybody, I'm Matt Hill. This is the Talking Energy show for the Oilfield Tailgate. We're in Faro Energy Services office in downtown Oklahoma City. Man, just for those who aren't seeing you as a legend yet, introduce yourself.
Thanks, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here. My name's Colby Haggard, and I serve as a community development coordinator for Hope is Alive Ministries.
Yep. Well, you caught my attention. I love what you're doing, and it laid on my heart to open up as many spaces as I can to promote you and what you're doing. Oilfield Christian Fellowship, we're going to have you in there to speak to the members, and just hopefully God will work through all of us to raise you up and your mission up, and I wanted to bring you in here so that anybody that we might be able to touch, and lays on their heart the right way, may offer up another opportunity for you to really be impactful for people's lives. Man, just give me your 30,000 foot view,
Sure.
elevator pitch of all you're doing.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Hope is Alive Ministries has been around for 12 years, and we started out with in the sober living homes is what we started out with, and we started out with one home and four guys. Lance and Allie Lang started this ministry, and so really laid it on their heart after Lance had been through recovery himself, is that he wanted to really dive into this, and he just saw some needs and some holes he thought that he could fill, and so he rented a home and invited four guys to move in with him, and they started this from those grassroots. So 12 years later, now we've got 26 homes across the United States.
Wow.
So we are in 12 different cities in 6 states, all the way from North Carolina to Colorado Springs, and we have about 250 men and women at any one time in our homes. And what we're trying to do here is we're kind of the third base of recovery.
Okay.
Recovery kind of starts out as a detox, usually an inpatient rehabilitation, and then transitions into a long-term sober living before they really get back into the world and kind of carry on their recovery. So that's really been our focus for the last 12 years, is the sober living communities, and we continue to grow those and expand. But beyond that, we have organization called Finding Hope,
Okay.
and Hope After Loss, that is a part of Hope is Alive. That those are support groups for family members and individuals that have been affected by addiction but aren't necessarily in addiction themselves.
They may not be the addicted party,
Yeah.
but it affects so many people, right?
Yeah. Addiction, and I don't know the statistic here, but it's roughly 15 to 30%, depending on who you ask and what you read about, but of people that in the United States that are affected by addiction. And in reality, what we see is that almost 100% of the population is directly or indirectly affected by some sort of addiction.
That makes sense. That tracks.
There's not too many people that don't have experience with someone, a family member, a friend, someone that's close to them, if not themselves, that has dealt with that. And it's not just a substance abuse that we call addiction. We, in Hope is Alive, we work through also process addictions, which they all go hand in hand, because there's so much involved with the way that we as humans fight this battle and what we're struggling with. Not just drugs and alcohol, but you can be addicted to spending money, to food, to there's sex and love addiction,
To work.
pornography, work, codependence. If I live my life in a way that I'm constantly trying to appease others, and if I'm not okay, if you're not okay, then that's a codependent situation that leads to a lot of turmoil and emotional strife that is manifested in so many ways that makes our life unmanageable and dysfunctional. And so we not only address those chemical addictions, but our residents also work through those process addictions. So.
Well, the story I hear mostly is you're really giving them, the pathway to, hey, look, we got you off the dependency, but what our society may not have all the steps for them to take once that's over. Like, hey, and here's how to get your life back on track. Here's a pathway to finding a home, to being able to just, long and short of it, hey, they need food, shelter, clothing right away.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They need physical security. And once you can take care of that need, like, okay, well, let's, start looking for the other ways. How do you, take care of yourself, going forward with a job?
Absolutely.
And And it's a little bit of why I liked, you for bringing people in to support you from oil and gas, because we have so many jobs available in our industry right now.
Right.
And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to find good people, keep good hands, but man, tons of times I've seen people that have had an opportunity that they wouldn't have had come into our industry and just shine and outwork everybody around them because they came from a background
Oh, yeah.
of real strife and said, man, I'm not wasting this opportunity. And they're a light for the people around them over and over again. They're constantly giving their testimony and go, hey, it's not really that hard out here.
Oh, yeah.
This is a blessing to have this job.
Absolutely.
And they move up. So I don't, I love it. It gives me nothing but joy to shine light on what you're doing. What's your, I love doing this because where'd you come from? What's your background?
My background, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. I've been in business all my life. That's kind of been what I perceived as success, was trying to chase what I call the world's economy, and found myself personally living in an addiction that I really, quite honestly, I had always wondered if what I was doing was not healthy or not, but I always surrounded myself, and I'd been around so many people that were doing it with me. Started out early in life where I had, a first experience when I was young of drinking alcohol and that whole experience. And quite frankly, I liked that. And that was something that I gravitated to.
Oh, I was a big fan for a long time. Yeah. It was hard for me to separate my life from brown water.
Yeah. And so then I went to college and quite frankly, got introduced to various types of drugs at that time. And that's when my life, I was like, I don't have to have another drop of alcohol. I enjoy the other side of this, using drugs and different substances. And what was crazy and what a passion of mine, and I'll go more into that, is that I always was a person that felt like I was in full control. No matter what I did at night with my friends or on the weekend, I never lost a job. I've never been in trouble with the law. I've never had any consequences because it wasn't really deeply intertwined in both aspects of my life. I was kind of living two lives. In college, I was National Honor Society during the day, and I was kind of a wild man at night in the evenings. And because I could manage that, I thought this is just normal. And as time went on, I became more of an adult and got out in the real world. I continued to carry that over to some degree. Of course, that changed some, but I still carried some of those habits over with me. And it was hard for me to ever associate or identify that I was an addict until my wife came to me, quite honestly, in the middle of last year and brought it to my attention. And she had brought it to my attention before of some of the things that I was doing were not okay. And in my mind, it's like, well, I've done these all my life. I'm successful. Yeah. I'm respected. We
have they're not excuses. They're reasons why we give ourselves like, oh, I've got a reason for this. It's not an excuse.
I thought I was like, you have the problem. You not liking this is because you're naive and you don't understand. This is normal. In fact, I'm not really doing anything anybody else isn't doing. And so, long story short, because my wife was extremely persistent, and I'm so thankful that she was, is that, she brought me to a point where, I got the gift of desperation, and it was a little bit like, I can't continue to do this if you're going to live your life this way. We had I've got an 18-month-old little boy. And she just brought it to my attention and kind of laid it on the line, and it didn't go over very well at first, but thankfully I really had a spiritual experience, not long after that, because I was decided that my marriage was probably over. And God kind of put it on my heart that said, Colby, if you want to save your life, you want to save your marriage, you're going to have to do something drastic here. And that scared me because I wouldn't even have considered sharing that I did any of the things I was doing to a therapist or anyone. That was beyond anything I would have fathomed, and to think that I would entertain going into a treatment facility or getting some help was something that I would never do. And because God really laid that on my heart, I decided to do that, and it changed my life. And so I went from a very successful career, a very respected person, into living in a room with another gentleman. We both had twin beds. We're in this facility together, and I thought
is humbling.
It's very humbling, but I was in an amazing place, and so
hold on, sorry. God dang it, these guys! How did I hit the wrong button? I'll know where to cut if I do this. I apologize.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
And, once the reality set into me that this was a good, positive thing for me and that I needed this, it absolutely changed my life, and it was the best experience I've ever been through. Was it difficult? Well, no question, but that humbling and that spiritual renewal, the only way to get out of addiction, and there is no other way, is a spiritual experience. If you're in AA or anything else, you'll understand from the get-go that there are some steps involved, but the number one step is you got to believe in a power higher than yourself.
Yep.
And if you can do that, then you can overcome this. But if not, it's 100% success rate if you do. It's 100% failure rate if you don't. So that Hope is Alive was the one that got me to this point today. When I found out and realized I had an addiction, I reached out to Hope is Alive. I was a supporter and helped them organize a fundraising event. So they were looking at me as a successful business guy that was coming in here helping them, and I was a cheerleader for them.
Who knew that they were going to help you?
And one day I had to call up one of my dear friends that I'd gotten through being a supporter and said, "Hey man, I got to talk to you about something different." Of course, he was blown away because he had no idea, but immediately wrapped his arms around me and put the team together, and they got me into a facility and took care of the whole thing from the get-go, and held my hand and my wife's hand and my family's hand all the way through this process. After coming out of that and really, I'm lucky because I didn't completely implode my life. I'm so blessed that God spoke to me and brought me to that gift of desperation, that moment of clarity. So I had something to come back to. I reintegrated into my life, into the business that I was in. And I haven't looked back since. Today I'm 265 days sober. But what did happen is God started changing my heart. He started saying, "Colby, instead of living in the world's economy, I need you to follow my economy." And relationships are the currency of that economy. And so chasing money and power and titles was something that I had always done, and it got me into the dysfunctional life that I was in. And so through a chain of events, Hope is Alive approached me, and after thinking that would never be an option several times, finally God softened my heart enough to say, I think I'm supposed to be involved in helping others in some way, and I don't know what that looks like. And God opened this door for me, and I was able to walk through it, and I'm blessed to be a part of this team. The culture, the leadership that exists with Hope is Alive is absolutely top level. The culture from the top all the way to the bottom, from the leadership that runs this organization to the people that are coming in on day one into a home, there's a culture that you're bought into, that you have to buy into. And when you see our men and women in these homes, when you see them in their Sunday night meetings bragging on each other and celebrating their goals and embracing this program, which we have a rather long program. It's 18 to 24 months. That's why our success rate is over 85% success rate. But you see this and you understand there's something special going on here, and that comes all the way from the top and is resonated all through the organization. You're
giving them a heck of a safety net for a lot of care.
Yeah, absolutely. We're surrounding them with sobriety. We're surrounding them with support. We're building community. We're encouraging them and showing them how to have a relationship with their higher power, with God, and we're teaching them the skills that they need. We're healing the wounds that they've experienced that have a lot of times led to and assisted in having these addictions and traumas in their life. And so it takes time to heal the brain and change the way that you think. And so that's why our program is a little bit longer, but like I said, it's 100% faith-based, and that's the key. That's the bottom foundation. That's the foundation. That's the most important thing for us.
That's the hope.
That's the hope.
You got to know you're loved and you're cared for, and that higher power, God, is there to save your bacon.
Absolutely.
I'm living proof.
I am too. I wouldn't be here today.
There's no other way. I've chased every other possible pathway for me to be anywhere near as successful as I feel like I am. And you just see all you get to a point where you're like, okay, you got me, God.
Yeah, you do.
I do not see any other way. You have to exist. And that means if you exist, then everything else is true. And I've got to start following you a lot better.
Yeah.
And I'm a good friend of mine, when I first started going to like Life Church way back then, he goes, "Matt, I got good advice." He goes, "I'm a sinner who wants to be a saint, but someday I aspire to be a saint who sometimes sins."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I get it, because we're always going to be sinners.
Oh yeah.
But if I can be that much closer and then sin sometimes,
absolutely.
I still live in the sinner who wants to be a saint someday.
I know. Well, we are human, and we'll never reach that. We'll never reach that perfection. But God is just asking us to surrender and be obedient in whatever that He asks us to do, and He will show us the way. And so, He is asking for a a real unique relationship with us. He's going to ask us to join him in his work and whatever that looks like. For me, it is in this capacity now. It could be in business. You could be, joining God's work does not just necessarily mean that you are in ministry or that you work for a nonprofit. Every one of us has an outlet to join God's work. He's going to ask us to we're going to have a crisis of belief when he asks that, which says, I don't think I can, I don't think I should, I'm not qualified. And he's going to ask us to adjust our lives in some way to join that. But as we pursue him, we become deeply more in tune and in a relationship with him, and it just continues to grow. But that is definitely, it's changed my life. Hope is Alive is got so much going right now.
How can we help as our industry looks upon your organization? What do you envision, or we're just spitballing here?
Yeah.
But keep doing that. We want to hear more about this and watch what happens and flourishes.
We are entering for the first time in our existence into what we would call the second base of recovery. We talked about there's a detox is first base, second base would be an inpatient, third base would be the long-term sober living. For us, we are finally we've had a deep desire to build an inpatient facility where we could rehabilitate people before they actually are then going into a long-term sober living environment. Because we want it to be faith-based and we want it to be in line with a certain set of values, we haven't necessarily found the perfect place. There's a lot of great places, and we've partnered with them for years, but our desire as we've grown and got more resources and more support, we finally reached a point where we've been able to break ground on a new facility. It's off Memorial Road, about 5 miles east of I-35, and we bought 75 acres out there.
Wow.
And we have broken ground on that facility, which is a 3-phase capital campaign. It's going to be around a $26 million campaign for us. We have been so blessed. God gave us an initial donation that got us off the ground that said, "Hey, I'm going to affirm your belief that you should do this." So we got that, and we were like, "Okay, we should do this." We took the first step. I think in the first year, the goal was thinking, if we can raise about $6 or $7 million, we will just be blowing the doors off this thing. And I would say we're about roughly 14 months in, and I think we're at 16 million plus that we've reached. And I say all that not to brag, but I say that to say God is behind this.
Yeah, the
community is behind this. The vision is there. The leadership is there. Lance and Allie have spearheaded this. They've done this just the way they've done everything else, very top-notch professionally. And we've just got a lot of support. But I say that to say we need more support. We need more partners to come alongside of us. We are not a self-sustaining organization. We are not in the business of recovery. We don't make money with our homes. These are not self-supporting. So we charge our residents a small amount of rent, and we really do that to teach them a lesson of how you have to pay rent in life, you have to have a job, you have to do, these are just life lessons, but they don't sustain these houses. So we are completely funded and operational because of outside financial partners. And so, something I really want to stress is that we have great partners that have resources that have blessed us. We are so thankful for that. But at the same time, we want to encourage individuals to become monthly partners with us that are $25, $50, $75 a month. We don't want anybody to feel like that your contribution doesn't make a difference, because every single dollar makes a huge difference for us. And we are really pushing this year to grow that and spread that message, because we want individuals to know, because every little bit goes so far for us. And we're changing the lives of these people. This money goes directly towards saving these people's lives, restoring these families, getting them back in a healthy position. So it's 100% positive. We've got a wonderful track record. We've been highly respected and built a great credibility within the community. So how can you get involved besides money? We have so many events that you can become active in. We just celebrated 10 years of our Finding Hope and Hope After Loss recovery, which we have over 60 different groups across the United States and 800 individuals meeting on a regular basis of these family members coming together, building community. We will have an upcoming Sporting Clays event at the Cedar Gate.
There we go, yeah.
Would love to have people
the Cedar Gate.
participate there. We have our upcoming Inspiring Lunch on May 6th and 8th, which is really our largest fundraiser, and it's just an opportunity.
When's the Cedar Gate clay shoot? You know,
It'll be in October. I don't have the date off the top of my head, but it'll be
right.
in October.
We all love the Cedar. All the oil and gas guys, you know, we really love clay shoots. You know that,
absolutely.
So you'll have us there.
Yeah, absolutely. So love to have have teams come there, donate prizes and things for us to give away and to auction off. So just everything goes to raise money for these men and women in recovery. We will have an upcoming golf tournament in April at the Patriot, which will be really exciting. I'm not a golfer, but I've been told that's top notch.
Everybody has seen that place by now, at least on the interwebs.
I've heard that place is phenomenal, so I'm looking forward to that. But we're having something all the time. We are event heavy. We like. I think that builds a culture of excitement within our organization, rather than just us go around and constantly ask for donations. We want to have events and get people excited. We want them to interact with our residents and see the life change. Here's something else that I encourage people to do, and this is easy. We have church partners out there that partner with us to do a lot of things. We have individuals that do the same thing and adopt a home. Maybe they bring cleaning supplies once a month, once every 2 months. They might provide a meal one time a month or one time every couple months. Just any way you can bring something to these houses. You just show up and encourage these guys. We have a Bible study every Monday night in every home at 6:30. I would encourage anybody that feels compelled to come and just be present. They're fully facilitated. The curriculum is written. You don't have to do anything but show up and just be present. The outside community coming into these homes is so pivotal and powerful for these individuals to see that they're cared about. They're cared about. They're loved. They're valued. And they're supported. And so, and then finally, we have a Monday night meeting every Monday night. The men and the women get together. We celebrate our goals. We brag on each other. We have a speaker, and then we have a meal. And so we always need people to donate for the meal, and we always are looking for wonderful people to come in and share a message. And that message could be anything. It doesn't have to be addiction. It could be about your business, your life, something that's happened to you, something good. But I mean, whatever it is,
it just makes it relatable.
Just come in and share
every
fellowship.
Single person in there is. I mean, who knows how many times I've been 3 steps away from the same path.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know. Yeah. I feel. You know, it feels relatable.
Yeah.
You know, it may have just been one dark weekend, and I got caught doing something I shouldn't have been doing. I'm without a job, and I can't find another one. And man, it's those little bitty steps. Yeah. You don't even know how close you are to that kind of edge.
That's right. That's right. And like I said, what I thought addiction looked like, what I thought an addict looked like, I didn't fit that mold. So therefore I didn't think that was me. But I think, and I alluded to this earlier, is the mission that I have and something that I'm passionate about is really spreading that message of, you know, if you're sitting in a boardroom in a very successful business and there's 10 people around the table, at least 9 of them are directly or indirectly affected by addiction, and probably directly. People are suffering. We have to recover loudly, or people die quietly in this world from addiction. And I would say, if you, a loved one, someone that you know, if you feel or urged or have this thought that maybe there's something there in your life, you know, we are a resource. Say something. Resource. Reach out. We have a 24-hour a day hope line that has real people that will answer the phone, that if, you know, they will come get you, they will find you, they will help you through whatever it is you're dealing with. There is hope, there is redemption and freedom, there is restoration from this. This is not an unsurmountable disease. It's not something that we have to just accept. I mean, it is fully changeable, and people are changing every day. And I would say, if you will come into our organization and see what we're doing, you will see that change in restoration. It will change the way that you look at addiction. It will take the mask off addiction. It will show you that these are wonderful people. These are regular people like the rest. We're all susceptible to this. There is no stereotype. And I think that's the biggest thing we're doing, is spread that message. Take that mask off. So
give them some kind of break. Like, hey, let's give them a break. Let's give them a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, God bless you for all this. I appreciate you coming in here and sharing this.
Well, man, we really appreciate you having us and having me on and just helping us.
I'm looking forward to you.
Spread the awareness.
Yeah, spread the awareness. Let's get you in front of the Oilfield Christian Fellowship crowd too. And
sure.
And all of you, of course, please reach out. What's the website?
Hopeisalive.net.
Okay.
You can find us there. We've got so many resources. I haven't even touched on everything that we do. So, I mean, I've left some things out, but I'm telling you, we are constantly reinventing ourselves. I'll plug real quick. We got a school program. We've got a thrift store that we've started on May in Britain. If you have donations, bring them in. I mean, we're doing all kinds of different things, putting people to work and giving them purpose. And so anything that you can do in those regards, man, we'd love to have you. If anything I said today didn't fit into something that you want to do, reach out and let us know, because we'll make a place for you. We'll find opportunity for you. We would love to have your support.
Oh, thank you so much for what you do. All of you, I know you all care about this stuff, so we'll just make sure you get to him, and I pray for you and your mission, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. We'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching. Take care.